Today we're going to be reading part of the biography called 22 Cents that was written by Paula Yu, and it is the story of Muhammad Yunus, who is an economist or a person who studies how money, goods, and services are made and used in society. Because of his accomplishments, he actually won the Nobel Peace Prize in the year 2006. The part of the book that you're going to hear today will describe Muhammad's boyhood in the city of Chittagong, which was part of India when Muhammad was growing up, but it's now part of the country of Bangladesh. If you were in class with us, there would be several places where I would stop and ask you to turn and talk to your partner. And these would be places where we practice using some of our strategies to extend conversations that you learned about in the previous slides. Since you are not here with us, what I am going to ask you to do is I will go ahead and say stop and think, and I'll share with you the same question, and you can talk to yourself like a crazy person if you would like to, or just think about what you might say to your partner to answer that question. So here is the first part of 22 cents. Muhammad's stomach growled as he and his brothers and sisters watched their mother mix rice, flour, sugar, and coconut to create the dough for the sweet pithas. She molded the dough into oval cakes and dropped them into hot oil. Each pitha floated to the top of the pan, frying to a crispy, golden brown. Then she placed the pithas on a plate to cool. 8-year-old Muhammad eagerly reached for a pitha, but before he could take his first bite, someone knocked on the door. Outside stood a weary woman and a little girl. The woman said she hadn't eaten in days. Poor people often stopped by the house because Muhammad's mother was known for giving away food, money, even clothes her children had outgrown. Muhammad knew the hungry people at the door needed the food more than he did. He placed the pitha back on the plate. His mother smiled at him as the grateful woman and child ate every crumb. So let's stop and do some thinking here. What do you know about young Muhammad and his mother so far? And what did you hear that makes you think that? So stop and think for a minute. Muhammad Yunus was born on June 28, 1940, the third oldest of 9 children. His Bengali family lived in a 2-story house in the port city of Chittagong, then part of India. Chittagong was a bustling city. Delivery trucks rumbled past passengers riding in colorful rickshaws. Beggars wandered side by side with businessmen along the densely crowded streets. People sipped tea or ate a snack made of fried lentils and chickpeas at one of the tea stalls along the road. Muhammad and his siblings found many ways to have fun together. They pretended to be soldiers, chasing one another across the flat rooftop of their house. They flew kites made of bamboo and paper, and sometimes after school, they were allowed to go to the movies. Education was very important to Muhammad's parents, and they made sure their children studied hard. Although Muhammad's father, Dullah Mia, was a successful jewelry maker, he had just an 8th grade education. Muhammad's mother, Sophia Khatun, went to school only up to the 4th grade, but she was passionate about reading and reciting epic stories to her children. The parents hoped their children would finish school and one day go to college. Dullah Mia also encouraged her sons to explore the world by joining organizations such as Boy Scouts. Learning from the world is the greatest learning, he told them. So let's stop and think here. Why do you think Muhammad's parents believed education was so important? Muhammad liked being a Boy Scout. The boys played games, hiked in the countryside, mastered outdoor scouting skills, and worked to help the less fortunate in their community. During some scout outings, Muhammad saw the terrible conditions in the slums where poor people lived. Families were crammed into tiny shanties built of bamboo, cardboard, and rusted tin. Homeless mothers huddled with their children in alleyways overflowing with sewage. It was almost impossible for the families to find enough fresh water and clean food. Muhammad became very active in his troops' charity activities. The Scouts hosted Earnings Week, during which they polished boots and sold books and tea to raise money for the poor. Muhammad noticed how just a few coins could buy enough rice to feed a family for an entire week. So this is going to be where we stop. I want you to do some thinking. What did you learn about Muhammad's early life? Think about what do we know about his early life that might explain why he became active in some charities. What do you think his father meant when he said learning from the world is the greatest learning of all? You'll get the chance to answer some of those questions on our next slide, and we'll finish this story tomorrow.